person I want to introduce. Johnny's very favorite friend, Bradley Bott. Bradley, can you stand up right here? Johnny and Bradley talk practically 2 or 3 times a week. And Bradley would call and I'd answer the phone. I'd say, Bradley, you called and you won't talk to me? And he said, nope. Won't talk, Johnny. So he'd call the next time and say, Bradley, you won't talk to me? And he said, nope. Won't talk, Johnny. I don't know what they talked about, but they would talk and laugh and giggle. But anyway, Bradley came down to the ranch and spent a week with us, and he did every summer. So I'd take Bradley and Johnny out to this little old country filling station where you can go back and get a hamburger and that kind of thing. And we were sitting there just the 3 of us, and I said, okay, Bradley, you and Johnny, I'm going to ask you all a question. Who is your all-time favorite Alabama football player? And they both said, Nick Saban. I said, well, Johnny, he hadn't even won a game yet. I said, what about your poor old daddy? I coached there for a while. He said, yeah, you're not there now. So anyway, Bradley, we're glad to see you here, and what a joy it is. You know, for you people to pay respect to Johnny, he lived his life with dignity. His little gift, he said this on a number of occasions, his little gift was he never forgot a name. Johnny just never forgot a name. When Johnny was 40, we didn't know how long he would live, and Ruth Ann and the girls had a birthday party for Johnny, and there were several hundred people there from all over the country, places where I've coached. Johnny called every soul by name. Everyone that came through that line. Some of them he hadn't seen for over 20 years. And when Johnny passed away, I've said this before, his mother and I received over 1,500 letters from people all over the country. Not just little notes, over 1,500 letters talking about how Johnny had made a difference in their lives. The governor of Alabama sent an Alabama State Trooper car to Paris, Texas, to lead the funeral procession. The governor of Texas was there the night before. He great to France when he saw the Alabama State Trooper. He said, what's that doing? 5 Texas State Troopers. Now we're talking about a child with Down syndrome. Did you know that people got out of their cars on both sides of the highway? Got out of their cars to pay respect to a little youngster who was born with Down syndrome. A lot of the good things have happened to Johnny. You know, he was probably the only one that was in the United Way commercial for the National Football League for a 2-year period. As long as they play football at the University of Alabama, the equipment room was named John Mark Stallings equipment. The beautiful rise program, Dr. Cook, here runs the rise program in Tuscaloosa. The beautiful playground is named John Mark Stallings Playground. And obviously Faulkner University is named their football playing field, John Mark Stallings Field. Hartselle, Alabama, beautiful playground, handicapped child, is named after Johnny. Abilene Christian University named 5 people that they felt like had literally helped change the world. Johnny was one of those 5. Texas A&M, where I'm a graduate of. Your 50th year, you give something back. We raised $250,000 in just a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, endowed a medical scholarship. Some young man, some young lady goes to Texas A&M, studies medicine. John Mark Stallings Medical Scholarship. And just recently on the campus of the University of Alabama, they named the street the Johnny Stallings Way in front of the Rise Building. So he has meant a lot to a lot of people. I've said this on a number of occasions. My complaining days are over. You people complain all you want to. I'm not complaining anymore. Johnny is fretful. We know that something's not right. You know, when you have children, you can just tell. I go and get in bed with Johnny, and he just couldn't breathe, and he's having a hard time. I check his oxygen saturation. You go to the hospital and put the little thing on your finger, they're checking your oxygen saturation. Everybody's in the 90s. Everybody is. If you're not in the 90s, you're ready for ICU. I checked Johnny. He was 63. I said, Johnny, how do you feel? He said, I fine. Couldn't breathe a lick. And yet here's an opportunity to complain all he wanted. He said, I'm fine. Passed away the next month. Undoubtedly the saddest day of our life was ending on that day. But our lives wouldn't be nearly as rich if it hadn't been for the fact that we were blessed with Johnny. You know, I said this on a number of occasions when Johnny was little. I prayed to God that he would change Johnny. He would make him right. But you know what God did? He changed me. You know, that happens every once in a while. So what a joy it is to be able to be here for just a little while and say thank you to the people for Dr. Hilliard and the board and so forth. It's honoring Johnny with a field named after him and a monument here for people to look at. And they're saying, I've said this on a number of occasions, I'm not really sure that Johnny wasn't an angel. He never said a bad word, never had a bad thought, loved everybody that he came in contact with. I coached for the Dallas Cowboys, and at practice on Saturday, the players would give Johnny a ball. He never got home with it, because somebody outside would want that ball, and he'd give it to him. That was the spirit that he had. Every Saturday night, this little guy right here, every Saturday night, he would get out his Bible and he'd get out a dollar to give to church. That's the kind of person that he was. We got a letter in closing not too long ago from a lady that had a severely handicapped child. This is during the Christmas vacation. You know, you send out Christmas letters talking about what your children have done and your grandchildren. We get this letter from this lady that had this severely handicapped child. And she was talking about the joys of raising that child. But also she talked about the struggles of raising that child. And this is the way she closed the letter. Life is not about waiting until the storm passes by, but it's learning how to dance in the rain. See, Johnny taught the girls, Ruth Ann and I, really how to dance in the rain. Just do the best we can with what we got. And in closing, championship game. When I was coaching at Alabama, we won the championship game in New Orleans. Johnny and I and one or two others was in the little room, just the 3 or 4 of us. Right after the game, and you know how you're celebrating and you're feeling good and you just won a championship. And Johnny looked over at me and he said, "Pop, good job."